Hey, I'm Kevin Pettit.
And I'm Martin Frazier.
And we are Loud Americans discussing soccer, better known as
Lads.
It is 12/23, August 5th, and it is 6 days till the Prem starts up.
It's a good day.
It is a beautiful day. A little hair of the dog. We were out last night speaking the football. But first off, we just want to say a little thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna... Fuck. God damn it.
We're a little bit more hungover than we let on.
Basically, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who liked our pictures, listened to our podcast. We got over 50 views in the first 24 hours, and that was awesome to see. And everyone who sent us messages, that's awesome. So thank y'all once again for everything.
Yeah, I mean, within 24 hours, having over 50 listens, that means the world to us. We know it's kind of hard. We've had a few people be like, how do we follow this? We have to make a SoundCloud account. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do like 5 episodes, 6 episodes, and we're gonna put it on iTunes. Apparently, that's what you're supposed to do. You shouldn't just put like one episode on there. I don't know what the whole what the rules are. I don't know the whole rules of the podcast. Rules. Yeah. Apparently that's a thing.
But we also have a Twitter page now. 1 follower, so that's pretty cool.
I think it's my mom. So tweet at us.
It's lads_podcast. And give us a follow. We'll be posting when we upload a new episode and everything like that.
And we'll be pretty much just chatting shit about the whole season going on.
So on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the craziness of Neymar's completed transfer from Barcelona to PSG.
We're going to be talking about like who's going to replace Neymar. That's quite the hole to fill. We're going to be talking about expectations for not only Neymar but PSG, Unai Emery.
And then we're going to talk about the Premier League this coming season, the top 6, the relegation battle, expectations for the big clubs.
We're going to be pretty much, and then just talk about all around the league. This is just going to be a league preview of what our expectations, talk about each team, and how we think each one's going to do. So, yeah, that's about it.
Strap in.
So, it happened. It's done. I feel like I'm like Frodo from Lord of the Rings. Like, I just threw the Ring of Power. It's done, Sam. The Neymar transfer is done, Martin.
It doesn't feel real. I remember when we first heard about this, 3 weeks to a month ago? I thought that this was fake. I also saw that he was going to United. He was going to the Chinese Super League. I just thought this was a whole marketing strategy. I never thought Neymar would actually go. So this is crazy. This is insane.
I mean, the whole rumor all year with the major superstar moving was Ronaldo.
Yeah.
And, like, everyone was like, oh, my God, Ronaldo's going back to United. He's dealing with the whole tax fraud thing. Mm-hmm. He's currently in trial. By the way, United fans and Martin, he came out yesterday and
said...
He's
coming home.
He said he wants to go back to England.
He's coming home.
Because he didn't have to deal with these tax problems in England. So, I think that's definitely a stretch. But
he's coming home. That's what I read from it.
But I think this is different to other transfers. Like, some I feel like are more sudden. Like, with KD going to Golden State, it was like, it happened that day. No one saw that coming. LeBron James' decision. I'm going to Miami. Like, people within LeBron's party within 48 hours didn't even know he was going to Miami. And this was a lingering story where parties in the Barcelona camp were getting sick. You had Gerard Piqué tweeting, like, he stays. You had dramatic social media. This has just been... everyone around the world, and most people were saying like this is impossible. It's Neymar Barcelona. It's like peanut butter and jelly. Like why would that? It just makes sense that this wouldn't happen.
And also, now that the transfer is completed, there are still questions about this because you still have the La Liga president saying that he's going to sue. Not sue, but report PSG to the UEFA and to the Financial Fair Play organization. So we don't even know what the punishment, if there is going to be any, that's going to come down on PSG. We don't know when he's going to start. He hasn't been cleared to play yet.
I guess there's like an international screening.
Yeah, I did not know that.
So what I saw today from the soccer world was that August 13th will be his start date. So I had a lot of anxiety yesterday because all I was seeing like La Liga's in the meeting room blocking it. Like I thought I was in a blockbuster movie. Like La Liga's in here, they're stopping PSG. I'm like, I feel like it's Jim Carrey in Liar Liar, like running down the runway, getting on the airplane, trying to save his kid. Like La Liga's trying to save Barcelona or trying to save Neymar from going to PSG, and it was just like it was so weird.
It was so weird because I think La Liga and Barcelona are really confused as to what their next step is going to be because Neymar was the face of both Barcelona and to some degree La Liga. And now that he's gone, who's their next young superstar?
I mean, like, Messi still holds the face.
Obviously.
But obviously, Neymar was their ticket. And, like, taking Neymar out of La Liga, like, it changes a lot because I think it's like taking LeBron James out of the NBA. You take him out, or like how MJ, when Michael Jordan left the NBA, the stocks or the whole like viewing of the NBA just dropped tremendously. So I don't think La Liga will fall that harsh, but they need a superstar. They need a young superstar like Neymar. Like Juventus has like Dybala, young superstar. You see them all around the league, and Barcelona doesn't have that young superstar anymore.
No, and especially now in the past couple years, their youth academy is not producing the stars that it once did. Real Madrid, they are turning out stars. Yeah. They have a brilliant youth academy. Barcelona has kind of fallen behind.
Yeah, but because they've created so many Messi, Iniesta.
Yeah.
Cesc Fabregas, correct?
I think so. And then you have Deulofeu, then you have Bellerin.
Hector Bellerin, who hopefully doesn't leave the Gunners. Fingers crossed. But now I get into this question. Do I watch Ligue 1 now? Do I watch the French League? Because I never, like, the only time I watched PSG, the only time I ever saw Monaco, PSG, Marseille, Lyon, that's like all the names I can name off the top of my head, was in the Champions League or in the Europa League. I never, like, unless there was this cool, like last year Monaco played PSG and it was like coming down to the wire where Monaco, like if they lost, PSG could kind of catch up. I never watched Ligue 1.
No, and when we were out last night, we were talking about this and drinking, obviously. And it really raises the question, like, does this make Ligue 1 worth watching now? I mean, obviously it's still going to be between Monaco and PSG for the title. But now it's going to be a competitive race every single year. That sounds pretty cool. So I think it's definitely going to increase the views that Ligue 1 got from last year.
Financially, this is a great move.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, just jersey sales, people are going to like, I want to watch Ligue 1 now. It's almost like when Kevin Durant went to the Warriors, you made a team that's already amazing even better and substantially better. Like, I thought PSG was good, but with Neymar, that adds a ton. Like, in terms of like personality, he's won a Champions League. The guy's won a treble when he was like, what, 22?
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane.
Also, we got to take into consideration this huge fee for Neymar isn't that crazy for the PSG's president and CEO. He's this guy that I looked up yesterday, and he's the president of the Asian Tennis Federation. He's the president of Qatari Sports International. He's the president of a bunch of other companies that I can't remember off the top of my head. But this guy is totally okay with spending the crazy amount of money to get that talent, to win. And look, he's already brought in Zlatan. He brought in Cavani. He brought in Di Maria. So he has no problem throwing this money out.
Draxler.
He
brought in Julian. Oh, I'm going to sip for Julian right now, that beautiful young German man. Yeah, I mean, but I guess I watch Ligue 1 now. I guess I'm a French league watcher because I want to watch Neymar.
I mean, if we're going to talk about Neymar day in or week in and week out, we have to start watching Ligue 1.
So does this make him like, so let's talk about this. There is huge expectations for PSG now. Unai Emery, like, I mean, I think this has been good for Unai Emery because, like, all right, all this Neymar talking, not how he totally bottled that Champions League game, which is the greatest Champions League game I've ever watched, ever.
Who Neymar had the biggest role to play in that Champions League
comeback. I love the Patriots comeback against the Falcons. I love talking LeBron James and how he came back from a 3-1, but that was the greatest comeback I've ever seen.
It was phenomenal. In the world, ever in history, and Neymar was the force behind that comeback.
I will admit that last goal was offside. Last goal probably shouldn't have happened.
And the goalkeeper scrubbed that. Kevin Trapp.
I don't know if it's more like how the Atlanta Falcons choked and PSG just choked on the biggest stage. They couldn't handle it. It was definitely a choke job for sure.
It was, and I pity the PSG fan that lives in Atlanta.
But I think about like, could Neymar win the Ballon d'Or next year? Because there's two things I could think that could happen. One, PSG has to win the league, and that it's like Kevin Durant when he went to the Warriors. He has to win a championship now. If he doesn't, it's a failure every year. If he goes and wins the Champions League next year, which I they're definitely now a contender. I put them in the top 5, easy. Top 3 even now.
I'd say top 5. I don't know top 3.
I mean,
I
it
still
would come
have
down
them
to-
losing to the bigger clubs.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to a mentality thing.
Yeah.
But if he goes in, and then you have the World Cup in the same year. If Brazil wins the World Cup, and he wins the Champions League, and Ligue 1, there's no way he doesn't win the Ballon d'Or next year. There's no absolute way he doesn't win it next
The
year.
problem, and you're forgetting, das Germans. Do you not remember the last time Brazil faced Germany in a World Cup?
Yeah,
And
they-
Bayern Munich. So you got the entire German country just waiting for Neymar. So no, I don't think he's going to win the Ballon d'Or. Oh, fuck, that was terrible.
Yeah, that was pretty poor words. No, we're just going to run with that. But there's a German wall for sure.
There is.
There's a huge German Berlin Wall
And then
standing in the
you
way.
also have Spain, and you have Real Madrid and Barcelona on the club levels. Then you have Italy, and then you have Juventus on the club levels. So you know what? In order for him to be even a contender, he has to make his way through giants. And I really don't think the Unai Emery-led PSG outfit can compete with any of them.
Well, I think we're definitely going to see. So let's go through the numbers. An American, this is how much the buyout clause was. This is the greatest, biggest buyout clause in history of sports. $262 million American dollars. You'll be paid $38 million over a 5-year deal. If you do all the math, I believe that's euros too, 38 million euros.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So it's about going to be 500 million over a 5-year span.
So $500 million.
$500 million.
Is he worth it? We'll see.
We'll see. I think this also comes down to a club that's almost funded by the country. PSG.
It's a state.
It's a state. It is funded by the state. And there was a quote that came out from the La Liga president yesterday, and the quote revolved around, if Manchester United came knocking the door for Neymar, they would have been more ready to give up Neymar to Manchester United because it's England or is not funding this transfer. Where it seems like France is more pushing towards this transfer and help fund PSG to get this player because they really want to be on the world stage. You're going to a team with no real club history. Their most famous player is Zlatan, in my recollection, and Ronaldinho, who left immediately, and David Beckham, who played 10 games and retired. Like, David Beckham went there on his, literally about to fall over. Beautiful man, by the way. Beautiful. Gotta love Bex. Bex is amazing. But went there and retired a legend after playing 10 games. So you're giving up Barcelona, which has all the history, all the best players, and was it worth it? I think it's a mistake by Neymar's part. Good on him trying to do his own thing, but
you know what? I'm okay with it. Whatever. I think it's definitely gonna make PSG a lot more interesting in the coming years, and especially if they can keep buying players like that. That's just gonna get terrifying. But it's a shame because this era of being loyal to one club, like the Tottis, the Gary Nevilles, and the Stevie G's for the most part, not
Patrick
counting
Vieira,
MLS.
I'll throw him out there.
Yeah, Patrick Vieira is seemingly over. And you just have players who are chasing the money. And it's a shame, man. I feel like that's happening across sports. In the NBA, it's happening. In the NFL, it's happening. And it's at the end of the era, I think.
I do love that Aaron Rodgers came out a couple days ago saying he wants to be a Pack. He wants to be a Packers till he dies. And I love that. I think
cool.
Chivalry is not dead. Thank you, Aaron Rodgers. All right, that's enough Neymar talk. Let's talk about the league.
Okay.
We're gonna do this is our pre-league predictions. We're gonna talk about who we think is gonna win, and then just talk about the top 6. Talk about who we think is probably gonna get relegated, and just see how the year's gonna go. So, Martin, you wanna start with your predictor who's gonna win the league?
All right. It hurts me to say this because I know it probably won't happen, but I really think Manchester United's going to win the league this year.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I know. And to pick my own team, yeah. But I really think, looking at how they played and the quality of the teams around them, I think Manchester United's going to win the league. This is Mourinho's second year. This is his most dangerous year. He just got the perfect midfield to complement Paul Pogba. So he's completely free from his defensive duties. He has Matic and Andy Herrera backing him up. And he has probably the most beautiful long balls in the world right now. and he has the dangerous partnership of Rashford and Lukaku up front. We just need to figure out some defensive mishaps. But then we have De Gea in the goal, so I really think United's going to win.
I feel like I'm next to a Dallas Cowboys fan. This is our year. This is our year.
It's this time.
Every year. That's actually Liverpool. Every year. This is it. We're going to win the league 30,000 years later.
Yeah.
I can see it. I definitely have United in the top 4. United looks nice. They look really nice. I think defensively, I think they could do better, but what they have is good.
Yeah.
What they have is great. I would give it a B in terms of defense. If you add De Gea, that's an A, but with those center backs in front, I still have questions about Bai. I definitely, Mourinho's going big. All he buys.
I love it.
Lukaku, huge.
Lukaku's a monster. When we saw him play, like, I knew he was big and strong, but this man is ripped. He is huge.
He does not look like he looks like he should be a linebacker for the Broncos. He looks
terrifying.
Like, I don't know if the Seahawks need to get a new safety after that broken leg, but that is a big man. Oh, shout out real quick. We just went and saw Neymar's last goal. We went down to the Redskins Stadium. And partied in this really sketchy house because we didn't want to pay $50 for parking.
Shout out to my man. His name is White Bread.
His name was White Bread.
That's what he told me, at least.
Kind of reminded me of LeVar Ball, that guy. But
but cooler.
Cooler. Well, way cooler.
Yeah, LeVar can go fuck off.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Anyway, we may have saw Neymar's last goal because he scored against Manchester United, and we got to see the players up front. That was an amazing time. But back to the football.
Back to Prem.
So my predictor is Man City.
I don't think. Oh,
I know, as a United fan now, but they were my predict. I predicted them to win the league last year. I thought it was going to come down to United and City last year. Obviously, Antonio Conte, not N'Golo Conte. Conte really changed it up and really just showed what good coaching can do to a team. I picked Man City because going forward, I thought that was their strongest, and they definitely made it better with Bernardo Silva, Gabriel Jesus. He looks amazing. Aguero up top. He'll get you 20 goals a season. Aguero is a 20-goal-a-season player. And they fixed their defense for the most part. Let me finish. And another thing. I think those left and right backs definitely fixed. Getting rid of Clichy.
And Kolarov.
I think they definitely fixed that up. I think I do still have questions about Otamendi and John Stones and company. But I definitely think they fixed that. Goalkeeping, we're not sure yet. We got to figure it out. But Man City's they're my pick.
All right. The only reason I don't pick Man City because I was between Man City, Manchester United, and Tottenham. But the reason I don't pick Manchester City is Pep's system of the tiki-taka football and pass out from the back was found out last year and exploited. And I really don't think that he has the team, even with all these new players in. And do I think they got better? Absolutely. But I still don't think he has the team to do that tiki-taka style of play.
Pep is a philosopher, and I like Pep. I think the way he plays football is beautiful. I think it's the same way that Arsenal plays. When it is done, it is the best. It is what makes people fall in love with football. Like how Ronaldinho helped people fall in love with soccer. I think that's what Pep does. But I think this takes time. This takes years to develop this culture. And I don't think you can just do it within a year because it got, like Martin said, found out quick.
Yeah. And I don't think Pep has years to perfect this style of play for Man City because, you know what, you look at Manchester City's past managers and how well they were treated. You look at Pellegrini.
Oh.
He won the league and was let go, like immediately after winning the league. You can't expect to have a lot of patience given to you if you're Pep. So he has to figure his system out real quick.
There's high expectations for sure. So let's go through some other teams. Tottenham, I think they're going to be right there. I think Tottenham's going to be top 4.
Yep.
But I still think they needed to add another player. I know I said in my last pod they didn't need to add anyone, but it does come down like if what you had didn't win you the league last year, you needed something else. You needed a little bit of edge, and like Martin said, I think that would have been Son. You could have gotten someone to replace Son because I think everyone else fits the bill pretty well.
Absolutely. And the other thing that Tottenham doesn't have going for them, they're playing in Wembley. They played like garbage last year when they played in Wembley during the Champions League and the Europa League, when they were knocked out of both competitions by a terrible team.
The Wembley curse will be strong with Tottenham. So we'll see. I think they get top 4. I don't know if I see them winning the league though. So let's move on to another team. We'll move on to Arsenal. Let's move on to the Gunners.
All right, Kev. What do you think? Top 4, 5, winning the league. This is your league. This is your year.
Typical.
You're a typical Arsenal fan again. High hopes until October.
So let me. I'll start off by saying like what it feels like to be an Arsenal fan. It's rough. It's been over 12 years. So it's been 2004. So yeah, it's been 13 years since we've won the league. And when we did win the league, we were invincible. We were undefeated, and we hold on to that. That's what we hold on to. If you're an Arsenal fan, you go, "Oh my God, look at Dennis Bergkamp's goal! Oh my God, that's amazing! Look, we were undefeated." We get that. It's been over a decade. We need to grow up. What I'm trying to say is I love Arsene Wenger. And in the beginning of season, he's there for 2 years. He's under contract. I have to believe that Arsene Wenger, because I have no choice. I have no choice. I have to believe he's going to do what's best for the club. And so far, he has. He has fixed our left back situation that wasn't really needed, but he increased it. He definitely got a better player than Nacho Monreal, who's getting up in age. I believe he's like 31. He got a striker. We've been waiting on a striker for a long time. But I still think we need a midfielder. We miss Santi Cazorla. Oh, Santi Cazorla. We miss Santi. We need that creative midfielder. I say we barely squeeze into the top 4. We beat out Liverpool.
You beat out Liverpool. And so are you coming in 4th or are you 4th, 3rd, 2nd?
Because then you got Chelsea.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be close. I think we don't make top 4. I'm going to say that right now. So my
are
top.
You okay with that?
I think we need how these other teams are lining up. I think it's going to be close. I think if I'm going to do my top 4, I'd probably say Man City, Man United, Chelsea, Tottenham. So I think it's going to come down to Tottenham and Arsenal once again. Will there be a St. Tottersome day? I think it'll come down. In my heart of heart, I want to believe that Arsenal beats out Tottenham this year because it's beautiful. You don't understand, like, to an Arsenal fan.
It's the only thing they have going for them.
That's the only thing we have right now. I don't think we can win the league next year. So I'm going to say we beat out Tottenham. We make top 4.
Okay.
I know I just said I'm contradicting myself, but I think it will come down to the final day. I think it will come down to Tottenham and Arsenal fighting for that top spot, and then I see Liverpool getting 6. So let's move on to Chelsea, though. Chelsea, league winners, I think it's hard to go back-to-back now. I mean, there's been 5 different winners in the past 5 years in the Premier League.
Also, they still have that debacle with Diego Costa hanging over their head. They might have Hazard leaving to go to Barcelona to replace Neymar. And they don't really know how Morata is going to do in the Premier League. So there's a lot of unanswered questions in the Chelsea camp, but I still think they're absolutely going to make top 4. I'd give it number 3 or number 4.
I definitely think it's going to come down with Chelsea. Chelsea definitely top 4 because they answered the questions. They got a striker to replace Diego Costa. Again, I don't think that was needed, but whatever. They got a holding midfielder, Bakayoko.
I did like that.
I did like that.
I like that a lot.
There's also questions. They might get Virgil van Dijk. That's
Pretty
lingering.
good.
That's
his partnership with David Lewis. Sideshow Bob.
Yeah, I think that could be a great relationship if he does get signed. Again, the rumor is mostly going to Liverpool, but I have a whole problem with Southampton. I'll get to that later. I have issues with Southampton and their whoever owns that club.
And selling everyone to Liverpool.
Not that, but I'll get to it. I'll get to that later. But let's move on to Liverpool. I think Chelsea, they make top 4. I think they do really well. I think Antonio Conte, he's a great manager. I think he'll do amazing.
I think he'll do not as well as last season, but I think he'll make it top 4.
I think the other teams have addressed their issues.
Yes.
So I think they're going to be ready and they know how he plays.
Exactly. I agree with that.
There's film on him. They understand how he is. Very charismatic. I love when Klopp and him are next to each other. I feel like there's just going to be an explosion for some reason.
You know what? Him, Klopp, Jurgen, and Mourinho, the most excitable managers to watch. I mean, you just watch Mourinho in a post-match interview, and it's like watching someone in the lunatic den. He's psycho.
It reminds me of Bill Belichick a lot, because Bill Belichick hates the media. Jose Mourinho hates the media, and that's what I like about United, City, Chelsea. There are huge expectations for those clubs. So Mourinho and Pep they have if they don't win the league, they could lose their jobs.
Yep.
So, but it's not like Arsenal. Arsenal doesn't win the league. Guy doesn't even make top 4, which is what he does. That's what he does. Is what he does and gets a 2-year extension.
Yeah.
That blows my mind. So let's move on to Liverpool.
All right.
I think Liverpool doesn't make top 4.
No way. They're gonna do the exact same thing they did last season. They're gonna have a amazing attack. They're gonna have the scariest front 3, front 4 in the entire league. But their defense is still in shambles. Their goalkeeping situation, terrible. And they're going to exhaust themselves with all this extra competition. They were tired by December of last year. Now they have to deal with the Champions League. I think they're going to be tired. They're going to come 6th.
Unless they get Virgil van Dijk to pair up with Matip. I'm saying it correctly now.
Is that how you say it? Did you look it up?
I thought that we established that.
I was just guessing.
Oh.
It's Matip or Matip.
Anyway, I think if they get him and they find a left back that's not from Hull City, they can really... and they keep Coutinho, because that is going to be the big thing. If they keep Coutinho, that's going to show ambition. I think that's really going to show good ambition. If Barcelona, now with a lot of money, could easily sweep in there and take him for over 100 million. But if Liverpool can find a way to hold on to him, I think they're going to have a fighting chance. I think it's going to be a lot. This year, Chelsea kind of ran away with it, and we say it every year. It's going to be a close one, and then ends up being 10-point leader.
But this year, I think 5 points are going to separate the champion from 4th place. I think it's going to be very, very close.
It could come down to the final day.
That'd be great. As long as it's not Aguero fucking scoring on the final day to ruin my hopes and dreams.
Aguero!
Oh, that man.
Anyway, I saw a cold sweat come over Martin over there.
Still have nightmares.
Every day.
Bastard, man.
Anyway. So Everton, they're not top 6, but we'll talk about some other teams.
Everton, I think,
I think they'll make.
They can compete
6.
with Liverpool.
I think they could make 6.
I do too. They could beat out Liverpool. Then you have the opposite side of the spectrum. So looking at who's going down, who's not going to be able to compete, and who's going down.
You want to do what? You want to do your top 3?
Yeah, I'll talk about my top 3. Number 1, who's going down. I really think that it is the end of time for Crystal Palace. They were able to skate by last year because of Big Sam. Now, if Big Sam stays, you know what? Then I'll completely believe in him. That man has never been relegated, and he had a 100% win record when he managed England for 2 beautiful games.
I could see it. I could see Crystal Palace because they were barely holding on to a string, really.
Yeah.
My team, who I think is going to go down, I think Watford.
Really?
I really don't like. They're the Hornets. What are they? A moose? Were they a moose?
No, they're the Hornets, but their symbol is a moose.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense.
Anyway, I think Watford fell off last season. And they've been in the league too long. Honestly, I think there are some teams who just end up lingering in the Premier League.
And that's them.
And Watford, they don't attract me. I think the Cherries attracts me more. They play more attractable football. I think Leicester is a beautiful story. I think Leicester will stay up. I think it's Watford's year because at the end of the season,
Troy Deeney, man. No faith in Troy.
They had the one player league for the Chinese league.
Igalo.
Igalo, yeah, and I loved Igalo.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Watford at the beginning of the season they kind of tapered off. I think Watford. And then you have the new teams coming in. Yeah. I haven't seen Brighton play. The gay capital, the unofficial gay capital of England. I looked it up. My mate Ben, when I was living in Swansea, he was like, because he lived right near, Brighton. And by the way, Brighton is beautiful. If you ever seen the movie Never Let Me Go of Kashi Ishiguro, great book, but there's a movie. It's filmed there. It looks like an amazing town. Shout out to Kashi Ishiguro, Never Let Me Go. That's my favorite book of all time.
We're sponsored by them, so
that's my first sponsor. Never Let Me Go. Read that book. It's a great book. I haven't seen Brighton play. I'm excited to watch them. I heard they did amazing last year in the championship. I want Brighton to stay up, but I haven't seen them play Huddersfield. I'm just basing off the production I saw last year. I don't like Watford. I think they go down. So we'll see.
All right, so now my unpopular opinion on who's going down. I think one of the new teams is definitely going down. One won't be able to stay up, maybe 2. But I also think Swansea City could go down. I think they could. They, just like Crystal Palace, barely skirted by, saved by their manager, Paul Clement, who we saw when we saw Swansea play Union, by the way, and that was crazy. He looked right at us and gave us a head nod. We lost our minds.
It was pretty amazing. We did a reunion for my Swansea when I studied abroad. All my Swansea friends flew around from like Chicago, New York, Boston. They flew in and we went to the Philadelphia Union play Swansea FC. And because of the story, they let us do like a backstage. No, not backstage. Like
a backfield.
Backfield. We got to go walk on the field and go and see a couple of the lockers.
We got a cool tour.
We got a cool tour. And the team walked out by us. Paul Clement walked right by me. I said, Paul Clement, with kind of a French accent. It was weird. He looked at me and went, yes. And we both like geeked out. We were both not entirely sober at the time, so we kind of overreacted.
It was really cool.
All my friends who were there don't really watch soccer, so they were like, what's the big deal? It's just some guy. That's like the equivalent of seeing like a coach of an NFL team go by. Like, that's insane. We were nerds. We geeked out.
It was cool. It was real cool.
Okay. I want to get to something real quick. I have a beef with Southampton.
Right.
I am beefing hard with Southampton.
Why? Because I just don't like them because they supply Liverpool with other players. Like, if you look at the Liverpool squad, like 5 or 6 of these players are going to be Southampton ex-players.
My beef with Southampton is they went to the final of the League Cup.
And lost.
They got, 8 last year? Right? 8?
I think 8. So
yeah, right below Everton. And that is good for Southampton. That is a good season for Southampton. I don't see Southampton.
Okay.
I don't see Southampton ever aspiring to win the league. There's no way. They don't have the financials. Everybody buys their players.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great season in my opinion. And they sacked the manager because he wasn't playing attractive football. And let me just start off by saying this. I love watching Arsenal. I love Barcelona. I love watching tiki-taki, great, fast-paced Man City attacking football. But when you're Southampton and you don't have the players, you can't play like that. Bob Bradley got found out real quick because he wanted to do that when he was at Swansea. The guy lasted less than 3 months. That's what happens. He had an identity crisis. He didn't realize who he was. Southampton thinks they're bigger than what they are. They sacked their manager, Puel. Got Pellegrino, not Pellegrini. It's Pellegrino. It's very similar. And so they want to do this whole, like, we're a bigger club. We don't need to sell players. And they're holding out on selling Virgil van Dijk. And Virgil van Dijk wants to leave. He's being shunned by players there. I think it's a shame what Southampton's doing. Shame on Southampton. I have nothing against the fans. I think it's a disservice to them. And you know what? Be sorry. I think you should be grateful for what Poole did last year. And just think about who you're getting and like what you're doing.
Okay, so Kevin hates Southampton. Hopefully they're relegated for him. Probably not. I really don't have a beef with it. They want to be bigger and better, and the best way to do that is to go through changes until you find the right one. I thought their coach last season did a fantastic job, and I don't think he should have been fired. But then again, I'm not the chairman of Southampton yet. I'm still young.
There's still time, Martin.
There's still hope. Martin, I'll be successful.
Martin, we're like only a month younger than Harry Kane. There's still time.
That's so depressing.
I know. Anyway. So yeah, those are our predictions. Those are like relegation battle, how we think each team's going to do next season. Let's talk about like teams around the world. So we'll start with Juventus. Let's talk about League A.
League A.
I'm like
the most American when discussing soccer.
Let's talk about League A. I think Juventus. I'm going to say Juventus again, but I do think teams are creeping.
I do too. And those teams, Napoli, Roma, AC Milan coming in big. And you know what? I think Juventus will still be able to beat them off, but I think it'll be a lot closer. And then next year, that's when I think you can see a change because that means Gigi's gone. That means Marquisio's getting old. That means I was about to say Bonucci.
Oh, he gone.
He gone. Chiellini's getting
Barzagli.
old. Barzagli, yeah.
Lichtensteiner's still there, right? I'm not sure.
No, I think he left.
Oh, he did leave?
Yeah.
Okay. I definitely think Juventus is going to win the league against year. I love Maximilian Allegri. I wish he was at Arsenal. I think winning the double last year, that was a poor performance in the Champions League final, but I give it to him. I think defense was really struggling in that game, and they couldn't really get much going there. Mandzukic goal, though. Oh, my God. Beautiful. That was class goal. Mandzukic. But I definitely think going forward, I think there's questions now because Dybala could go to Barcelona, so that could get rid of their young talent because of the absence of Neymar. So we got to think there might be some personnel changes over the next couple years of Juventus.
And going off that Dybala thing, I actually saw a report today that came out of the Juventus camp. And Juventus said they're not going to sell Dybala unless he wants to go. So they've put, and I like what they're doing. They've put the decision in Dybala's hands. So they're not going to sacrifice team unity for this one player. They're going to let him make the decision. And you know what? I really respect the way Juventus is handling this.
No, that's really mature. I also want to say, like, if he does go to Barcelona, he will never be the greatest Argentinian to play at Barcelona. When you have Messi, it's like, oh, I'm an Argentine player at Barcelona. It's like,
but have you heard about Messi?
Are you Messi? So I definitely think there's expectations. Even Neymar, it's like, oh, you're a Brazilian player at Barcelona. Are you Ronaldinho? So I definitely think Juventus is going to win the league next year. There are teams creeping. We could see more of a title fight this year. Let's go to Germany. Bayern Munich.
It's gonna be Bayern
I didn't even
Munich.
think we had to debate this.
No, it's clear, simple. It's Ancelotti's second
Second
year
year?
in the league, and you know what? He got his golden boy James, and if the injuries fix themselves, you know what? He's got like 7 people that are not going to play in the Supercopa tonight. So if all the injuries are fixed by the time the season starts, I think that it's just going to be absolute, like a knife through butter. He's going to run the league.
I don't have any doubt in my mind because Borussia Dortmund fired Tuchel, which I thought was a mistake.
I did too.
I was very upset with the firing of Thomas Tuchel, and I wish I hope he comes to Arsenal one day. There's a lot of managers. Diego Simeone, I'm really hoping for you.
But he loves Arsene.
I love Arsene Wenger. Anyway, I don't have a doubt that Bayern Munich is going to win the Bundesliga next year. That's not my problem. Even with the loss of Philipp Lahm and Xabi Alonso, R.I.P. God, pour one out for
legends.
Ledge.
Or
drink one. Yeah, cheers. Oh my God. Anyway, I think they're going to be fine. The creative midfielder, Thiago, amazing.
And they've got the scariest man in football today, Vidal.
Oh my God, doesn't he look like a villain?
He's a super villain.
I feel like he would box Rocky or something,
and beat Rocky.
Yeah, or be. Oh my God, that is a terrifying man.
It is.
I could see him as a villain to the Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that, going up against Star Lord.
Yeah, he's a fictional character. He's not even real.
Like Thanos or whatever.
He has tattoos on his head.
Yeah.
He's terrifying.
That's a scary Chilean man. But you got Robert Mueller, Thomas Lewandowski, which they don't even have to use Robert. I'm saying Robert Mueller, the guy from the Trump. Thomas Mueller,
Robert Lewandowski.
Sorry, I combined 2 names. The other guy's doing an investigation.
Yeah. He's not in football. So moving on to La Liga. Who's gonna win?
Oh, wait. Real quick, before we get into La Liga. So, Ancelotti, though, he has to win the Champions League. I think there's expectations.
I don't think
because he blew it against Real Madrid. There was a lot of bad refereeing, but
yeah,
I would say he has to win the Champions League or at least get to the final.
He's got to get to the final. I'll say that he's got to get to the final because it's been since 2012. Since 2012 was when they won last. So yeah, he's got to get them to the final at least. But moving on to La Liga, I think with Neymar out of the question, as of right now, there are no replacements. So as of right now, I'm saying Real Madrid, cakewalk.
I'm not going to say a cakewalk because I will never count on Barcelona. They have the best player in the world, in my opinion, Lionel Messi. You can make the debate about Ronaldo. I think Ronaldo's been amazing. But I think Messi has been amazing, but Ronaldo's had better players around him.
Oh, what? Are you kidding me? Did you... Okay, hold on. I actually saw this. This quote came from it was a ex player. I can't remember who off the top of my head, but he said that Ronaldo has won all the trophies that Messi has won, but Messi hasn't won all the trophies Ronaldo has won.
Okay, Messi doesn't need to go to the English Premier League because Messi would literally destroy the English Premier League. Oh, Messi would get knocked over in the English Premier League.
He took Portugal to the final.
England, okay.
Argentina has been the biggest choke in every single final.
All right, another thing. Messi took a team to the World Cup final and lost by a goal in extra time by the beautiful Mario Götze, who did the most
coming back
spectacular
this year,
goal.
by the way.
Also, pour one out for Mario Götze. I love Mario Götze. I hope he's doing well.
Yeah.
Messi, we're getting on a tangent. Messi took a team to the World Cup final. Did Portugal even get out of the group stage?
Who else does
I'm not
Portugal
done.
have? Who else does Portugal have?
I'm not done. And if you look at the Euros or the last summer, they played literally no one to get to the final. I get it. Who do they put in front of you? What matters? That's not their fault. It's not Portugal's fault. They got put in front of Wales to go to the final, and France choked. France had the much better squad, and they totally choked, and Ronaldo wasn't even in the second half. And if you tell me he coached that team by just yelling gibberish on the sideline, I'm not going to take that.
You know what? Who got them there? Ronaldo got them there.
Who got Messi? Messi carried that Argentinian team in the 2014 World Cup to the final. It's unfortunate. I was rooting for Germany. Don't get me wrong, but I am a supporter of greatness. I am a supporter of amazingness. I love Ronaldo. I love Messi. I can be on both camps because I appreciate greatness. What I don't support is saying that Ronaldo had the easiest run to the Champions League a couple years ago. He played Man City before getting to the final. And he also had the easiest run to get to the Euros final. So I don't want to hear it.
But look at Ronaldo's goal-scoring production in this Champions League alone. He scored a hat-trick against Bayern Munich.
Again, I think it was poor refereeing.
He scored 2 goals against Juventus in the final. He's phenomenal. No. He comes up in the big games. You know what Messi's done in the past 2 Copa America tournaments for Argentina? Scrubbed a penalty.
He didn't scrub a penalty in the one. Higuain. If you ever want to be on an international team and make sure you have a teammate who will scrub a penalty, I will call Higuain. I will get him on the phone for you. I think Argentina has really let down Messi, and I think Ronaldo has really carried Portugal. I definitely think Real Madrid are going to win the league next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And and then Ligue 1, PSG.
It's PSG.
So that's pretty easy. I think those are our predictions for the league next year.
We're going to do a show on Thursday, I think, near the end of next week, and that's going to be, we're going to predict the results of every game going into the opening weekend of the Prem. 6 days away. Arsenal versus Leicester City.
Well,
Friday.
I'm going to be drinking heavily.
Taking off work.
What I'm going to say now is that our production value is much more. You might be hearing some outro music, some posty. We got that PSG money now. Our production value is out the hemisphere. Thank you.
Real hype.
I am the hype man. Shout out to Meek Mill. All right, well, thank you so much for listening, and have a great weekend.
All right, guys.
On the tabletop, have price my whip, same price my watch. Got no jumper, but I ball a lot. Bitch on your stony, I do what I want. Candy paint with the white on top. Lambo doors or the woo up drop. If you busy plotting on what I got, kick in your door and swat.